My name's Ann Schrooten. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm an attorney, I'm a writer. I was a caregiver for my son Jack for 15 years. He was a child with a lot of medical complexity. My story's about a night in the life of caring for Jack towards the end of his life, and it's a conversation that he and I have together, and shares a little bit about the caregiving part and the connection, the special connection that we have. I'm telling the story because I think it's important. I've been given the opportunity to share the voice as a parent caregiver of a child who was extremely medically complex. I think it's a voice that's not heard often enough. It's very isolating, and this was an opportunity for me to share my story, but also share the stories of other parents, what it's like to take care of a child who's medically complex. I'm jolted awake by the alarm blaring through the baby monitor that's sitting across the room on my bedroom floor. I glance at the clock on my nightstand. The green neon numbers read 2:26 a.m. I lay there for a second, but my mind is telling me, you need to get up. But I'm so tired. But he can't breathe. You need to get up. I drag myself out of bed, fumble in the dark, trying to find my cell phone. And I hurry down the dimly lit stairs. I'm wide awake now. My heart's racing. My body's tense as I make my way to Jack's room on the first floor of our home. The room is dark. Jack is lying on the far side of the queen-size bed that dwarfs his small frame. And the glow from the bedside lamp reveals his jungle-themed room with floor-to-ceiling trees and green leafy branches hanging from the ceiling. I turn on the bedroom light and hurry to Jack's side. I silence the alarm on the pulse oximeter. He looks at me. His eyes are open wide, looking panicked and scared. His cheeks are pale. The numbers on the pulse oximeter tell me his oxygen saturations are 80 and his heart rate's 175. Both those numbers should be closer to 100. I wonder, how long has this alarm been going off? How long has he been waiting for me? What these numbers tell me is Jack is struggling to breathe, and I need to quickly figure out why. Do the secretions need to be cleared from his airway, or is this something more serious? Why can't he move air through his lungs? Jack is 15 years old. He's got sandy blonde hair, the sweetest smile. And when he's feeling well, his eyes sparkle and radiate joy. He spent the majority of the first year of his life in the hospital. He was the prince of the PICU. Doctors, nurses, even parents of other kids in the unit would stop by his bed when they needed a pick-me-up. He was about the only kid in the unit who wasn't sedated. And he greeted everyone who stopped by his bed with a smile. And that, despite the fact that he was intubated with a breathing tube down his throat. When he was 7 months old, he was discharged from the pediatric intensive care unit with a trach, a G-tube, and connected to a ventilator, but with no diagnosis. We eventually received a diagnosis of congenital muscular dystrophy when he was 8, but his prognosis was still unknown. Jack is nonverbal, non-mobile, and he depends on machines and competent and around-the-clock caregiving to keep him alive. For the last 15 years, every ounce of my being has been consumed with caring for Jack, keeping him healthy, keeping him safe, and keeping him happy. But his body is starting to feel the impact of his disease, and I can see the weariness in his eyes. This last year has been a rough one. He's had kidney stones, broken bones, multiple procedures, and hospital admissions, and so much pain. And no one can really tell us why. I just want for Jack to stop hurting. I grabbed the suction catheter next to Jack's bed next to Jack's pillow. I turn on my suction machine and I thread the catheter down his trach to clear his secretions. His oxygen saturations climb slightly, 81, 82. I look at Jack. His eyes are looking off into the distance as if he's trying to escape. I need to get his oxygen into the 90s. I grab the blue ambu bag hanging on the ventilator stand within arm's reach. An ambu bag is a balloon-like bag about the size of a football that's used to manually push air into Jack's lungs. I disconnect the ventilator circuits from his trach, attach the ambu bag, and give the bag slow, deep squeezes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm thinking to myself, who lives like this? Who bags their child back to life as if it's normal? How have I been doing this for 15 years? Jack's oxygen finally climbs into the 90s, and the color slowly returns to his cheeks. I feel relief. But the adrenaline rush that comes from having to quickly troubleshoot and resolve Jack's inability to breathe has completely wiped me out. And the inability to breathe has completely wiped Jack out. I lean over his bed and cradle his soft cheeks in my hands. I touch my forehead to his, and I look into his beautiful chestnut-colored eyes. And I hear him say, "Thanks, Mom. Can you stay here with me for a while?" Of course, he doesn't say it with words. Jack speaks with his eyes, his facial expressions, his body language. But it's his eyes that will grab you. They lock your gaze and they draw you in. And with a deep tenderness and knowing, they speak directly to your heart. It's a connection that can't really be explained. It can only be felt. So I turn off the bedroom light and I crawl into bed with Jack. I grab his hand, lacing my fingers through his bony and contracted fingers. And I give his hand a kiss, and I ask him, "Do you want to listen to some music, Jack?" I find my lullabies playlist on my phone, hit play, and I put the phone between our pillows. And with Jack's warm hand in mine, a calming peace fills the room as the rhythmic swooshing of the ventilator, tethering him to this world, keeps time with the music streaming from my phone. I close my eyes, hoping to get a few hours of sleep before the manic morning that I know is waiting for me. But I can't sleep. My mind wanders and my heart hurts for all that Jack has been through this last year. I open my eyes and I look over at Jack, and I see tears rolling down his cheeks. Jack's always been very sensitive to music, and it's not the first time that he's become emotional listening to a song. So I pick up my phone to see what song is playing. "Fly Away." I asked Jack, "Do you want to fly away?" And as soon as I ask the question, I feel a deep heaviness in my heart because I know the answer. Yes, he wants to fly away from the pain and all it takes to live in his tired and broken body. And while he can't tell me what he wants, his eyes, his body, his spirit tell me he's tired and he's ready to go home. But how do I stop? After 15 years of doing, how do I just stop and accept that Jack's body is tired and broken and there's absolutely nothing we can do to fix it? What if he thinks I'm giving up on him? What if we're missing something? I'm Jack's mom. It's who I am. Who will I be without him? But as I lay there holding Jack's hand, I accept that it's not about me and what I want. And as much as it will shatter my heart and bring me to my knees to live without him, I understand what I need to do. I need to listen to Jack. I need to let him take the lead. And I need to unconditionally love him home.